da superare per i concorrenti. Ricordiamo la linea blu, gli ostacoli col colore blu, e ricordiamo anche a tutto il gentile pubblico appena inizierà la gara, quindi tra qualche istante, di fare attenzione al passaggio dei cavalli e soprattutto di tenere i cani al guinzaglio. Grazie.
Ladies and gentlemen, the warmest of welcomes to Vairano. We're here nestled in northern Italy, just to the south of Milan, and we're 10 kilometres north of Pavia. And you join us at a perfect time because we're literally 2 minutes away from the start of the first leg of the FEI Nations Cup Series for 2018. And it's the second phase of the competition, the cross-country, all eyes on Captain Mark Phillips's cross-country course. And the dressage certainly was interesting for the 42 that came before our ground jury, that are Eric Lieby from France, Jane Tolley from Great Britain, and Dr. Ernst Topp from Germany, the three who oversaw and assessed the dressage. And the cross-country is certainly a long, demanding test as ever here in Italy from Mark Phillips. It's just over 3.5 kilometres, 3,660 metres is the length of the course, and this is the highest speed they must gallop at in international eventing at 570 metres per minute. And a total of 26 fences out, dotted around this Vairano cross-country. The optimum time, if they're very, very quick. It's doubtful at this level whether anybody will come home inside the time, but it's 6:26. The time they must try and come home inside. Every second over that is 0.4 of a penalty. And of course, for a refusal or a run out, it's 20 penalties for the first. For a second refusal, a different numbered fence, it's a further 20. But if you have a second stop at the same numbered obstacle, the second refusal is 40. And of course, 3 strikes, and I'm afraid your luck is out. And you're eliminated. That's a basic summary of the run-outs and refusals. And there you see the beautiful bank combination at the end of the course. That's a 17 ABC, and that's Jane Tolley, one of our judges, out overlooking the safety of everybody on the course. And I can tell you the position. France out in a very commanding lead at the start of the cross-country. We'll come to the details of the scoring in just a moment, because the first of the cross-country is underway. And our trailblazer, the first for the Swiss national team, it's Yasmin Gambriasio getting underway. This is Elizabeth Ritz, Tempo de l'Orme, the first to tackle the Nations Cup cross-country in Vairano.
Yasmin Gambriasio per la Svizzera con Tempo de l'Orme numero 341.
This is the first question that Yasmin approaches. The hedge is off the track at 4. That came up very smoothly for the first out of the blocks. It's a very forward 2 strides there. Boah, Yasmin is seeing some big distances, just powers out over that straw table at 5. As now she comes the second combination that comes thick and fast at the start of the Nations Cup prize. This, the offset brushes at 6AB. Yeah, there's an option there for the riders. Either a very forward 3 that she saw, or you can hold for the 4 strides. I suspect it will be a mix between which of the options the riders go for early on. But I tell you what, this is a beautiful, bold start from Tempo de l'Orme. Our trailblazer is showing us the way beautifully.
14ª posizione della classifica provvisoria generale.
Yasmin, 27 years of age this time. She's trained a lot with the ace, Chris Bartle, up at the North Yorkshire Riding Centre near Harrogate. And Tempo Dolourme has started off as well as they could hope. 40.4 was her dressage, 38th position individually. Just turning now to this combination at 9. Very smooth, I must say. The bull's nose to corner comes up out of the gallop for the young Swiss jockey. And this will already be feeding back to the stables. Lots of confidence from this opening round of leg 1 of the Nations Cup here in Italy. Wow, this horse is operating. Huge jump out over. That's a whopping Great Ditch and Oxa. It's seriously beefy. But now, another real test coming. This is the mound, 12 and 13. It's a roll top with a brush on top of it. And then the tight enough turn. And I tell you what, Tempo Dolourme just skids a little bit on the turn, but still kept very sure-footed to jump the corner. This is an impressive start for Switzerland. Yasmin Gambaracio turns now. Back to this again. Impressive combination, the indoor school double. 16A and B. Poof, that was gutsy again, because the horse was away, but still just stuck to his guns. And I'm getting quite a buzz watching this, because this is really exceptional. Now this snaking line. Oh, this horse is really operating. She drops down now to the skinny brush. I'm impressed, I must say. I spoke to Yasmin earlier in the week, and her aim is the world's in Tryon. And this horse is really operating. He flies out over the big roundhouse at 18.
La prima parte di gara è già stata messa alle spalle, dobbiamo proprio seguirla sulle ultime fasi.
The second to come, we welcome, it is Anna Fresgaard up and running. Anna is away. And this, the trailblazer for the Swedish team, aboard the horse she rode at the Europeans in Stregom. Her first senior cap last year, 33rd individually. And they also recently won again in Stregom, took the 3-star 2 weeks ago around Marcin Konarski's Southern Polish competition. Yasmin Gambaracio, 4 to come now, but it's the big water complex that separates her from an impressive opening round here. She comes to this Palisade Inn. Super stride she sees, now turns to the boat and gets it, but she's not there yet, but now she is. Well, this has set the tone beautifully. Sets up for the ditch and brush at 24, and Yasmin Gambaracio is running with 2 to go. This, the last combination, the houses at 25. Yes, Tempo Dolourme just adds a stride between the houses. He is clear. Now we focus on the trailblazer for Sweden, Anna Fresgaard. Box Cutie just coming off the turn before the new stand at 15.
6 minuti e 43 secondi per Jasmin Gambiraso, ma ecco che vediamo Anna Fresgaard con il suo box quality.
Anna Fresgaard just up behind our commentary position here. This is the Bank Complex at 17, and Box Cutie very smooth. I can now tell you the team standings after the dressage. France are way out in front. 83 the score for the Olympic champions. Sweden, and Sweden down to 3, so every round is absolutely crucial for the Scandinavian nation. They are in the silver, 100.7, 17.7 back from France. And the home side, Italy, they lie in the bronze, 104.6. And it's Switzerland, our back markers, 108.4 in 4th position. But there is the French trailblazer, Raphael Cochet, heading down quickly between 8 and 9. Raphael was here in this very same class 2 years ago. He was 4th with Sherazade de la Louvière. And I must say, really caught my eye there 2 years ago. It's a beautiful galloper. Just pops the flag off the right-handed corner out of 9B. That lady wakes up from a little siesta quickly with the thunder of hooves that rattle past her eardrums. Anna Fresgaard into the water complex over the Italian boat. Yeah, Box Cutie looking very smooth, as I can give you the first time. 6:43 was the time from Jasmin Gambiraso. 17 seconds down on the optimum, so 6.8 time penalties, 47.2 is a very promising start for the Swiss team, who have got to play a good game of catch-up.
Ed ecco che Anna Fresgaard taglia il traguardo con il suo boss quiet, quindi prova terminata per lei. È partita anche Rebecca Chiappero, sempre per l'Italia, in sella Quilando Z.
France are off to a flying start here with Raphael Cochet as he breezes through that imposing combination. The indoor school double at 16, but combinations coming back to back as he just drops down to this skinny brush off the bank at 17C, and France out in the gold medal position are off to a promising start if he can just hold things together. This mare, she's now 12 years of age. She's side by Mr. Blue, and as you can see, has got a really rapid gallop on her. It's not a long ground covering stride, but as you can see, she's very adjustable, but nippy regardless of the stride length. The Italian trailblazer, we catch up with Rebecca Chiappero. This is Quilando Z. 36.2 was the dressage here. Big jump out up at the top end of this Vairano course over the narrow brush table at 8. Quilando, 16 years of age now, and as I say, the dressage was 36.2. That removal of the coefficient has meant that the dressage very bunched up at the top of affairs. The best score individually was from Donatien Choly, the Frenchman, 25.6. But his fellow French jockey, Raphael Cochet, survives a bit of a scrape into the big water at the end of the course. But this South Francais well up to the test. That is massive. Huge ditch that you could pretty much drive a Mini through, I would imagine. It's not quite the Cottesmore Leap at Burghley, but it's not far off that most intimidating of fences. Rebecca Chiappero. Super presentation at 12, that Bullfinch on top of the roll top. Because she set the horse up so nicely, the fence then was like a gymnastic exercise at home, beautifully through that left-handed, sharp enough turn there to a decent corner. The time's in now for Anna Fresgaard, the trailblazer for Sweden, and it is 6:45. 19 seconds down on the clock, but it's the quickest round so far, 7.6. 42 is the Swedish score. But the score's just come in for Raphael Cochet, the flying Frenchman, and 6:30. 4 seconds down on the time, only 1.6. That is a super start for France. 34 puts Raphael Cochet into the lead by 6 penalties. Great round to kick France's cross-country challenge into the right gear.
Scusate, rettifico, non parte, non prende il via il numero 345. Superato l'ostacolo numero 17 A, B e C da Rebecca con il suo Quilando Z. E anche il 18 viene superato senza problemi.
We focus on Rebecca Chiappero, the trailblazer out for Italy. And I'm delighted to have hot off a great round with Box Cutie, Anna Fresgaard from Sweden alongside me. Anna,
yeah,
congratulations. How was it out there?
Thank you. It was good. It started really good. You could go really forward, but because of that, she was a little bit going forward into the arena here as well, and it was a little bit tricky here. So I couldn't really let her go in the end because I was fighting to get her back to me. But yeah, it was a nice course to ride. Yeah, and she was in a really good mood.
Yeah, I mean, it seems quite big. We're seeing some horses having to improvise. You know,
yeah.
It's decent out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really. Yeah.
So Rebecca Chiappero, the trailblazer for Italy, just coming, rattling the last few fences. How was Box Cutie in terms of tired or fresh come the end of the course?
She was really fresh.
Good.
It was a fight to stop her off the finish line. So yeah, she's really fresh. She could go for another round.
So claps behind us because the Italian trailblazer has come home. And that was a very good round there for Rebecca Chiappero and Quilando. Raphael Cochet, the quickest so far, just 4 seconds down on the time. That was beautiful from Sherazade de la Louvière. As now we focus on Spain because Albert Hermoso Farras is up and running. This is Quilate. He starts with a good dressage of 33.9. The first combination, Anna, comes at 6 AB.
Yeah.
It's quite a long 3 strides in there.
No, it was nice.
Nice for you.
For me, on that one, it was really nice. It was nearly a little bit short for her because she's a huge gallop. So it was a nice distance. But I will think I'm gonna do it with my other horse if it's a nice 3 for him too, or if I will have him on a 4 short. Yeah, we'll see.
Albert Hermoso Farras. His grandfather famously a blacksmith that Albert started to help Grandad shoeing the horses, and he started riding as his reward to and from the stables. And then a local in his village of Lleida in Spain spotted a young Albert on horseback and thought, he's got some talent. And he started to support Albert on his route to the top. And Quilate well out over 8. His dressage score 33.9. That was a good score for 13th position after the dressage. Albert, now 38 years of age. He did ride in the Rio Olympics. That was with Hito CP. And 54th in the World Equestrian Games in Normandy, now 4 years ago. That was a lucky escape. Boy, oh boy, he just slammed the ground, chipped in, as we say. But after such a chip in, so sharp with the front legs to not hit that corner, this Anglo-Arabian is obviously a very nimble, cat-like cross-country tool. And again there, chips in again. And that is a fence that if you chip into, it's big already. And again, how Quilate came over it without even touching it, I'm a little bit baffled by. Well, thanks very much to Anna Frescourt. Quick reaction from her. She's just going to go and prepare her second horse as we focus. Albert Hermoso Farras. Super sight of the grey galloping, ears pricked. Whenever you see a grey galloping across country, you have to think back to Ian Stark in full cry with the likes of Murphy himself and Glen Burney. His former European champions for the Flying Scots. No greater sight in the sport than a grey at the gallop. As Albert now turns back towards this indoor school double. But Quilate is so athletic. First time I've seen this Anglo-Arab across country. And escaping from all sorts of bother.
Abbiamo visto passare proprio alle nostre spalle, senza nessuna esitazione, Albert Hermoso Farras in sella Quilate.
The Spaniard riding as an individual here in Vairano. As ever at the Nations Cup, we have the first rider rotation, a batch of individuals before the second rider rotation kicks off. The score's in for Rebecca Chiapro for Quilando. That was 9.2 time penalties, 45.4 third place individually, but all the nations off to a good start. But the French, who are in the gold medal position, off to the best start with that 1.6 time only for Raphael Cochet, who just breezed around with the grey. But now we focus. That is Alice Narba-Lozeman into your picture. The Axie Zam Zam. It is number 7 to go. Dutch bred, 14 years of age, by the full-blood Roven. Turning back to this imposing Oxa over the ditch. Alice has ridden at 4 Europeans, first back in '99 in Le Moulin, and latterly last year in Stregon. Both her and her husband, international eventers. They both actually rode in the Punchestown Games of 2003 around Tommy Brennan's meaty course, but Albert Hermoso Farras has got 9 lives out there. He's had so many little moments, but Quilate every time comes up with the right answer. Just coming to the houses. One from home, and Albert heading to the last fence for a great clear round.
Tommaso Mondini ha già superato i primi ostacoli, siamo già sulla combinazione dell'ostacolo numero 4 A e B e anche l'ostacolo numero 5, ma il fischio ci avvisa che abbiamo alle nostre spalle
Axi Zamzam heading into sight with Alice Naber-Lozman. This is the bank combination at 17. That's a very narrow pair of barrels, literally 2 barrels alongside each other, but very smoothly, and with the changes of the contour there, the little undulation in the middle, that was impressive from the Dutch ace as she comes down to the nice straightforward roll top, no bother at all out over the big roundhouse at 18. Alice with 2 daughters, Leda and Janssen, her 2 younger offspring. But Zamzam still making very good progress here. 36.5 was the dressage. That's a big Trakehner on the way home. 20 that is. And then this loop back, this serpentine, they must navigate the final field on the home journey.
Ostacolo 20 superato da Alice Naber-Lozman, quindi anche per lei 3 quarti di gara è alle sue spalle.
The scores also now through for Albert Hermoso Faris, the Spaniard. Quilate came across the line in 7:05. 39 seconds down on the 6:26 time, so it's 15.6 time penalties for him, and 49.5 is the completion score after cross-country. But now, Alice Naber-Lozman sets up for this whopping ditch brush on the home trip. Very smooth. She saw a super stride there. You wouldn't want to be on a bad one to that fence, let's just put it that way, because the ditch must be 2 meters across. There we see Tommaso Mondini. This is number 8 to go. The 15-year-old, bred in Great Britain by Jessup Lovely Boy. It's Jessup Red Imp on the track. 40.8 was the start score, and a confidence-giving leap out over the ditch oxer at 11. That was quite impressive there, because Jessup Red Imp just fighting for his head a little bit on the approach to the corner. But Tommaso Mondini just sat very still, didn't ruffle at all for the horse, shaking his head, and he jumps the corner nicely. This pair together since 2014. But quite early days in their 3-star career. They completed Wiener Neustadt in Austria last year. That was their first ever 3-star.
Ostacoli 14 e 15 superati da Tommaso Mondini, e quindi anche per loro.
Tommaso Mondini down to this whopping ditch and brush. If you've got a ditchy horse, don't bring him to Vairano. There's at least 3 proper ditch and brushes out on the course. Captain Mark Phillips, our designer here for many years. And a good test, because Mark Phillips, the designer for the Worlds in Tryon later in the season. And a number of combinations here will be feeling their way around his demanding Vairano test to try and get a flavour of what's looming in September out in the USA.
Ostacolo numero 17 superato da anche l'ostacolo numero 18 da Tommaso Mondini e il suo Jessup Red Imp.
Just a little scramble again, like we saw for the Spanish pair a moment ago. Gregory Schneckenberger in this batch of individuals comes down towards this mound complex. 12 and 13. So far, nobody has fallen foul of this double. Very smooth. That was a beautiful turn. No jackknife there for the Frenchman. And he then puts his foot to the gas as he storms down towards the Bullfinch at 14 with some gusto. The Bullfinch, the traditional cross-country fence with the little brush sprigs on top of the harder brush. You get the odd horse that tries to clear it in one, but the purpose or the idea is they should brush through the top of those little spindly twigs rather than clear the whole thing in one jump. But we have seen that in eventing. Schneckenberger. Oh, now that's not the plan. Boy, oh boy. Great to see him clear of the horse as the horse dropped into the ditch. The horse fell sideways, but thank God Gregory was clear, and I can see him sitting up, so that is relief after that nasty moment at the end of the course. In fact, I apologise. That was not Schneckenberger. That was the Italian combination. I do apologise. That was Jessup Red Imp, that late fall with Tommaso Mondini. Similar colour horse, and that was the Italian pair. The new starter going beautifully along is Daisy Diamante for Italy. This is Costanza Mantici on the early part of the course, but this horse looking full of running. Of course, so many cancellations at the start of 2018. These horses we saw in the dressage all delighted to be at a party. And Daisy's Diamante heading down now towards the third combination already that comes at 9, the wedge to corner. Strong starts from the Italian pair, just the flag brushed out over that corner at 9, but they run down with, again, the wind in their sails as they pop out over Danilo's bed at 10. But yeah, they'll be held out on the course because of the need to drastically repair that ditch and brush, which took a real battering from the fall of Tommaso Mondini. As we say, he's fine. Costanza Mantici coming down to the Bullfinch. Just going to be held before the Bullfinch with Daisy's Diamante. So we have a short break on the Nations Cup cross country here in Vairano, and it's certainly been an action-packed start to the cross country and the position. Raphael Cochet has shown us just how to jump the course, the quickest so far. France are off to the perfect start, 1.6 time penalties, just 4 seconds outside the time. He leads the way individually. And the French team keep their hopes of a gold medal very much alive. 34 is the best score. Anna Fresgaard, we spoke to her briefly earlier, is second. That's Box Cutie. 42 for the first out for Sweden. And Alice Naber-Lozman, she also came home with Axi Zam Zam. 6:42 for the first out for the Dutch. Not a team member, but an individual. And 42.9 is third place as we stand. So a short break while we resurrect that Bullfinch. We'll be back with you in just a moment here at Vairano.
7 minuti e 54 secondi. Ricordiamo che sul percorso c'è la concorrente Costanza Mantici che è stata fermata proprio per dar modo al personale di riposizionare l'ostacolo per i successivi concorrenti. Ricordiamo anche che questa prova è valida anche.
So Costanza Mantici just walking round calmly with Daisy Diamante. This is the unenviable position that happens to most cross-country riders at some point in their careers. Happened to me for the first time during my first intermediate at Goring Heath. I was 3/4 of the way round the course, held up, and it's just a question, just keep your nerves cool. You've, of course, had your blood boiling, your adrenaline up, and you've just got to settle down and say to your horse, just hang on a moment. It's quite warm out there, sort of 25, 26 degrees this afternoon. There is a light breeze just cooling things down, but there's always an option to get some water on the horse if they're warm and need a little bit of cooling during the hold out on the cross country. Looks like the fence is pretty much back in a vertical position, having been rather flattened by our fall up. And the crowd that has gathered on the bank is anticipating a resumption soon enough on the cross country. We have about 3 minutes until we restart the Vairano cross country. So just a quick look into the future about what lies ahead in the FEI Nations Cup Series. In 1 month, we'll be in Great Britain, in Norfolk for Houghton Hall, the second leg. Leg 3 is in Stregom in Poland, Marcin Konarski's southern Polish base. That is at the end of June. And then we cross the Atlantic over to the plains for leg number 4. And it's the 7 best results of 8 possible starts for the nations that count towards the final classification. Then it's back to the World Equestrian Games venue 4 years ago for Le Pas aux Arins. In Normandy, that is, middle of August, before the last 3. Thomas Duggan's Mill Street will host leg number 6. That beautiful Mike Etherington-Smith cross-country course. And then it's Belgium. Wagemt-on Rikkevaart competition for the penultimate leg in late September. And then the finals do come to the Military Boeklo Enschede Horse Trials on the east edge of Holland. Frans van Mechelen's powerful, one of the most popular shows on the eventing circuit. That is the finals. Last year, the win went to Germany. They've won 4 Nations Cup series since the inception of the programme in 2012. German eventing has been so dominant over the last decade. And of course, largely powered by Michael Jung, the double Olympic, 3-time European and former world champion. But we get back underway and we restart. Up out over the Bullfinch goes Costanza Mantici, the individual for Italy. Daisy's Diamante just coming now down to the newsstand. Fence 15, it's so called because our great hosts here, the Mazzocchi Bordoni family, their business was in magazines. Oh, another one misreads that again. The same has happened to the faller, jumped into the ditch, not over the entire question. Whether there's a bit of a light issue, they can't quite read the question, we don't know, but a bit of a theme is emerging. Well, successive problems at the complex at 16 is, and again, not understanding the question in the least. And this is a interesting situation. The ground jury watching every horse jump, every fence, and there's clearly something they're not reading correctly out of that big ditch and brush. So there is going to be a hold on the start. We here for a little review of the safety of that fence. So a short delay here in Vairano, but once again we remind you of the position. Raphael Cochet's got France off to the perfect start. They were in the gold medal position, leading by 17 after dressage, and 34 is the best score so far out on the cross country. He was just 4 seconds over the time, so France off to their perfect starts. Also, great round for Anna Fresgaard, the trailblazer for the 3-man or 3-person Swedish team. That's Box Cutie, lying second on 42. And in third place individually, Alice Narbel-Osman, Axi Zam Zam, 42.9, the top 3. But again, it is a short hold here in northern Italy.
Ma viene tolto l'ostacolo 16B, l'elemento B viene annullato. Ripeto, l'ostacolo 16B viene tolto, rimane l'ostacolo 16.
Well, the news has come through, and there's a short hold because the ground jury, in discussion with Mark Phillips, have decided that 17B is unsafe, or 16B, I should say, is unsafe. Because of the 2 successive problems, I think a very sensible decision. And 16B has been taken out of the course, so just the one element at 16 now to negotiate. An important announcement, please, for riders. All riders, please pay close attention because the news has come through that fence number 16B, the Bullfinch, the ditch and brush out of the combination. 16B has been taken out of the course. So, down at the start, please be aware. 16A, the only part of 16 you have to jump. 16B has been taken out of the cross-country course. Thanks very much. So the course design team just paving the way for the one element only remaining at 16. I can tell you that the recent retirement is for Constanza Mantici. After that misreading by Daisy Diamante of the question, understandably, after the one before had the tumble. The Italian individual has retired out on the course. So the course is free and we'll be restarting soon out on the cross country.
Allora, attenzione, ricordiamo ai concorrenti che per questo piccolo inconveniente ci sono 11 minuti di ritardo sulla tabella di marcia, quindi 11 minuti di ritardo per
So we are back up and running. The cross country is live again and it is the individual for France, Olympe Dumont, who starts off. This is the Zangaseda, 11 years old. It's Zazar de Olzed on the early part of the course. Olympe Dumont, 29 years of age, 16 international competitions only under her belt thus far. This is her 17th start, so quite a fresh face to the international eventing scene. Good ride, really strong with her legs in between those two hedges. The first combination at 4AB. Well, she's going to have to just wake up Azar all a little bit. That was a bit sluggish out over the straw table at 5.
E abbiamo ripreso la competizione con il numero 351 che è già sul percorso di gara. Si tratta di Olympe Dumont.
Quite light in experience as well at the 3-star level, because this just her 5th start at 3-star here in Italy. That was more positive. That hopefully will give us some confidence.
Numero 7 superato senza problemi da Olympe Dumont.
Well, France certainly have a lot of confidence after that perfect outing for Raphael Cochet. He was sublime out on the course, as young Olympe Dumont. Good jump it is up over the mega table at 7 and the narrow brush table at 8. This is a nice straight, a nice breather here. A chance to just regroup, quickly assess what's gone before and refocus the mind on the 3/4 of the course that's out in front of you. As Azar de All turns into this wedge to corner. That was more confident. This horse is finding his feet for sure. Of course, these horses haven't run much before coming to Vairano. They're all a little bit green between the gills. But this is a good sign. Just fighting for the head a little bit is the gelding, which shows he is now ready and up for the job. And heading down in a powerful enough gallop to this mound complex. This is riding very well, I must say. As there you just glimpse the new starter. We're just starting the second rider rotation. Switzerland's number 2, Camille Guyot, gets on course. This, the 10-year-old Self-Français. It is Ulsan de Lacorie. Just turning down to the table at 3. Camille Guyot's dressage was good, 33.1. The Swiss team are back markers after the dressage, but only 0.1 in arrears in the dressage. nicely through the first question. The first of 5 combinations in total. Out on the cross-country course.
E Olympe Dumont è appena passato alle nostre spalle senza problemi, quindi prosegue la sua prova verso la parte finale del percorso. Quindi ha superato l'ostacolo 7 A, B e C ed è veramente nella seconda parte della sua gara.
Camille Guyot powering on the far reach of this Vairano track. Good start for the second out for Switzerland and the first of the second rider rotation. Camille currently number 295 in the world rankings. She did start her first senior cap, came for the Swiss at Blair Castle. A Little Horse Europeans of 2015. It didn't go according to plan, but nevertheless, she cut her teeth at championship level in Scotland. And Alexander Lackery looks to be in a very strong, powerful rhythm as they now turn into this wedge and corner double at 9. Just the shade of these 2 big trees that oversee this corner complex. That was very smooth, I must say. That fence is riding very nicely.
351 è il numero che contrassegna Olympe Dumont, ha già superato l'ostacolo numero 23, quindi è per lui.
Just the one run for this combination this year. That was Tartus. They did the CIC 2-star. New competition in France. Their autumn of last year went very well. 3rd here in Italy at Savona, down on the Ligurian coast, just due south west of Vairano. As now they come to this mound complex. Very smooth turn again. And Alexander Lackery pats the ground before the corner. Jumps it very smartly. Well, things in the Nations Cup standings start to get very interesting because France's number 2 about to get out on the course. Luc Chateau. That beautiful dressage on the first of the 2 days of the dressage with his Sofrancais partner Propriano de Labat. They scored 26.7. 4th place individually. And there you see, just bounds off that little drop of the omitted fence. And there is France's number 2. And of course, he's in determined mode as France try and secure the first of the 8 legs of the FIA Nations Cup here in Italy. Luc is now 34 years of age. He started in the saddle at 10. He was from a non-equestrian family, dragged mum and dad into the horsey scene. But impressively, his father and mum now breeding horses as well. And this Propriano de Labat is their flagship stallion. And they just come down to the wedge and corner.
Abbiamo la partenza intanto dell'italiana Clelia Casiraghi in sella verdi. Ricopriva la 14ª posizione nella classifica generale riservata al Cicco 3 Stelle.
Luc is yet to ride for the French senior team. He was shortlisted for the Malmo Europeans back in 2013. But France would be a hard nation to break onto their senior squad. As the Olympic champions, they've got strength in depth already. But Luc Chateau swiftly to the mound with his stallion. Yeah, super stuff. This is also very rapid, like Raphael Cochet France are flying, no question.
12 e 13, quindi sono a metà percorso.
Camille Guyot, the Swiss number 2.
Alle spalle per quello che riguarda Luc Chateau.
Just emerges from the water complex at the back end of the course, but looks like she's got to represent. I didn't see her, of course, obscured by the mound, present the first time. She's either turned a circle or she's had a run out the first time of asking. But in any case, it's going to be a late 20 because that was the C element. She either refused at or represented at, and oof, a big hit over the ditch brush on the home run. They've survived it, but boy, yo, yo. Alessandra Lacari living dangerously, I must say. It was a 20 at the water, and thankfully Camille Guyot has just got one to go. We're on course with Luc Chateau. He is still very much in the groove here. The stallion soars up into the air over the Oxa. The weather has been superb this entire week in Vairano. Blue skies and unusually warm temperatures for 2018 after the beast from the east has been freezing everybody in Europe. We're all delighted to be here in sunny weather just to the north of Pavia. And that is Clelia Casiraghi turning between 10 and 11. That U-turn, this is Verdi. Clelia Casiraghi, 24 years of age. That was her ride from the senior Europeans in Stregon. But now we focus as Luc Chateau powers into the water. Propriano de Labat is answering all the questions, and France have started sublimely. Raphael Cochet set the tune for France with that perfect round with Sherazade de la Louvière, and Luc Chateau is going to put France into a very dominant position after their second man comes home.
Ma continuiamo a seguire Luc Chateau con Propriano de Labat e Clelia Casiraghi con Verdi.
Clelia Casiraghi was born in Monza, now just outside Milan. She started riding at 4 years of age. She trains with Matteo Zoja. He's here with her this weekend, just coming to the Bank Complex at 17. We are also running the Italian National Championships here this weekend. And Clelia took a very good bronze at her first ever Italian Nationals. As Verdi is going very strongly. But the time has just come through for Olympe Dumont. Boy, oh boy, that was a great round. The individual for France. France really are flying because 6:27. She was only 1 second outside the time. 0.4 for Olympe Dumont. And a final score for her, 34.5, which goes into second. But just hot off the press. What a round. He hits the optimum bang on the head. Luc Chateau puts France into such a commanding position because Propriano de Labat, no time penalties, the first to better. 6:26, he meets it square on. And 26.7 means it's a French 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Clelia Casiraghi can nip ahead of Olympe Dumont if she is also inside the time.
16, la combinazione 16.
Verdi comes thundering past us here in the cross-country control to tackle very nicely the houses on the home run, and this is fast for sure. Will she also, like Le Chateau, be inside the time? Sarah Bresci, we just see popping through that reduced combination. Sarah aboard the lovely Chestnut, the Italian-bred Midolino. This is 16 years of age and still looking fresh as a daisy as they come to the Bank Complex at 17. This left-handed curve, but up the hill, down the hill as well. Well, we wondered if she was inside the time, and Clelia Casiraghi pushes the time very close. She is only 1 second over it. 6:27, that's a super start to her season. And Verdi, as we thought, nips ahead of Olympe Dumont. 34.5 is the Italian score, the best for the home nation. On course now, we see Thibaut Champel just removing the flag after the corner at 9. Thibaut, 22 years of age. His birthday in 4 days' time. He rode at 2 European Youth Championships. He was in Monte Libretti. That was 2016. He was 11th individually with this horse, Clerkenwell, here in Italy 2 years ago. And got a huge ground-eating stride, this Chestnut. Wow. Pwah. That was very bold. Boy, oh boy. Thibaut Champel on the buckle. He didn't take a pull into that roll top whatsoever, just kept the gallop flowing. And I think he wants to join Luc Chateau as the inside the time club, no question. Clerkenwell down up over the newsstand, nicely through that. Here's dressage 42.4. We are into the individuals now after the second rider rotation has completed. And I can tell you the standings after the second rider rotation. France stay out in the lead, 83. Italy, 105.7. And then Sweden, 108.3 at the moment. But we have to really hold on for the Swedish score because down to a team of 3. But now, look at this. He is motoring out on the course. Thibaut Champel is on fire. Clerkenwell down to this Oxa. Thibaut really tuned up his eye this morning because he rode in the 2-star on his Self-Francais mare, a start to Madeleine, and that was impressive as well. He just swings around now to this big stick pile. Really old-fashioned type of an Oxa. Quite interesting here in Vairano because only one Mims clip out on the course. Just a proper old-fashioned course that needs respect, and I tell you what, it's getting it. These horses are really responding to Captain Mark Phillips's Vairano course. Now down to this yawning ditch. Clerkenwell is eating this course for breakfast. This is great to watch. The Frenchman, I would imagine, will be the second to come home inside the time. In the middle of the course, Beatrice Mascioli for Italy with Anna Maria Botti's Marg. And this one, the brother of the badminton champion, Andrew Nicholson's Nereo. Marg is now 19 years of age. Pops through the bullfinch. Just awaiting the time of the Frenchman who's just flown home, Thibaut Champel. The time is in for the Italian individual, Sara Bresci. Midolino stopping the clock on 6:44. That's 7.2 time. 43 is the Italian individual score. Beatrice Mascioli just coming to the bank complex at 17. Pops through there very nicely. Looks to have a streak of independence. Marg not dissimilar to Nereo, as he just cocks his jaw and says, yeah, Mum, I know what's going on. Just let me operate. But now we focus, because France's individual, Sydney Dufresne, is on the course. And Sydney aboard his partner's mother, Agnes Trubel, the fashion designer, the owner of this Reliquaire, sets off with Sydney. Salle Francais, 13 years of age, for this very talented Frenchman who made his debut at Stregon in the European Champs last year. Amazingly, actually, because he's been on the international scene for so long. 2 years he spent with Sir Mark Todd in Gloucestershire, learning his trade. And Sydney, the undisputed cross-country king, a multiple winner of Stuttgart, of Geneva, and at home in Bordeaux as well. And Reliquaire is chasing down to the mound at 12 and 13. Sadly, Mascioli having a refusal out of the water. Beatrice aboard Marg. 23C, sadly, is the one late blip for the Italian combination. Really frustrating late mistake for them. There you can see the problem starting earlier in the sequence of jumps, just a little bit deep in over the palisade. And again, Marg having to improvise over the boats, and luck runs out at the third element. Sydney Dufresne rapidly down through the bank complex. Reliquaire looks very fast as well. Yes, the time's in for Thibaut Champel. It had to be inside the time. 6:15, 11 seconds under. Makes the time look like a piece of cake. That was so good for the Frenchman.
Diamo anche il tempo per Beatrice Mascioli, 7 minuti e 08.
We're live with the Italian individuals. We welcome Andrea Zossimo to the middle of the course. This is Valdo, just through the combination. The wedge to corner at 9. As we say, the very first inside the time. Thibaut Champel was so bold out there. Clerkenwell at the course for a Saturday afternoon lunch. I can tell you what, it was so good. Valdo, strong gallop up towards the mound. And Sydney Dufresne, I think, could be the second inside the time here. He is racing home. Such a quick gallop. Boy, oh boy. Reliquaire, 3 to go. But can France make it 2 inside the time? I have a funny feeling. This is a lightning finish for the Frenchman. His dressage was 34.1, so if he can come home inside, he will go into 3rd position.
Ed è ormai sul finire della sua prova Sydney de France con Reliquaire. Intanto Andrea Docimo 14-15.
A rather more leisurely pace out in the middle of the course. That's no criticism, but just simply how quick Sydney Dufresne was. Just hopping down that now free drop after 16. Andrea Docimo bringing his Dutch bred. 15 years of age, this one. Side by Roven, again the full-blood direct sire. Just coming to the bank complex at 17. Looks very sure-footed in the middle of their course. Good stuff. We are just approaching the halfway point in the Vairano Nations Cup cross country. Leg 1 of the 2018 series is certainly proving to be a very exciting start to the season, as now we go to Pierre Touzin is up and running. The beautiful Palomino was so good in the dressage. It is Scapin de Brio, the South Francais 12-year-old, on course. Wow, it's a serious shot. What has happened to the French? They are on fire out on the course. Just guns at that big enough table. Owned by Eric Touzin, and the dressage was very smart. 35.4 for this Palomino for France.
Ultimi salti per Valdo e Andrea Docimo. Intanto abbiamo sul percorso anche il numero 361 Scapin du Brio con Pierre Touzin dalla Francia.
Well, I tell you, whatever the French had for breakfast, I want some of that tomorrow. I just asked Eric Libby, the grand jury president, what is it with France today? He just said they want to win. That's simple. And they're certainly going all the right ways about it. Sydney Dufresne's time's in. Not quite, but so close. 3 seconds over for Reliquaire, 6:29. And that is 1.2 time penalties for Sydney, 35.3. Puts the individual for France into 5th position as we stand. This is Kai-Stefan Mayer. First time we've seen him with Cascaria, just coming down this left-handed curve line off the bank. 17 ABC. This is a beautiful young Oldenburg mare. She's only 9 years of age. It is Cascaria, the 5th. With the man who went superbly at the Le Moulin Europeans back in 2011. That was 20th with TSF Carrascosa, his championship ride of the last decade. But this is a proper tool. Massive jump out over that Oxa. Pierre Touzin smoothly through the combination at 9. No drama at all for the individual for France. I must say his dressage yesterday was franked by a real naturalness. It was very unmanufactured, beautifully smooth and confident. And a similar feel to the cross country. You can just see, just letting the horse gallop and flow into the fences. Nicolas Touzin, the famous double European champion, formerly. He's got a great surname for French eventing.
passati da Kai Steffenmeier su Cascaria, quindi per lui veramente ultime battute prima di tagliare il traguardo.
Kai Steffenmeier, base now with his wife and daughter Chiara. Another child is on the way in a month or so in Arville. And we saw Chiara earlier because Kai leads the two-star with Nyala Darville. Chiara saying, "Allez, allez, papa." She'll be cheering again because Cascaria, only 9 years of age. And Kai has given her a very good ride around the course. Must have, because it's proper out there this afternoon. And just the Vairano arch at the final fence to tackle. Super round it is for the German just coming home.
Prova con Cascaria quinto. Ma vediamo tra qualche istante invece comparire alla nostra posizione il numero 361 Scapin du Briot con Pierre Touzan, rappresentante per la Francia.
We are just halfway through the Nations Cup cross-country. And France, who led the dressage, are burning it up because both their first two team members are in first and second individually. Luc Chateau leads the way, 26.7. 7.3 penalties in second is Raphael Cochet, France's trailblazer. First and second for those two. So France continue their dressage domination out on the cross-country. As now we join the individual for Italy. This is Francesco Aondio Botero, just swinging through that U-turn. 10 to 11. Francesco, very good rider. His top horse of yesteryear, OK Man, his European champ rider in the Youth Europeans. Brings this bold-looking Garfield down to the mound at 12 and 13. This is riding really well. You can't quite see on your screens how steep the drop is after that log, but it is sharp enough. They're still landing on the downhill and turning, which is not always easy when you land on your front end to turn smoothly, but then negotiating that turn very smartly.
E Pierre Touzan ormai proprio sulle battute conclusive della sua prova, che chiude in questo momento in sella al suo Scapin du Briot.
Francesco powers on down to the bank complex at 17. Sees a good one. That came up beautifully off the corner. Yeah, it's a strong tempo he's set for sure. You see with the greats cross country, the likes of Michael Jung and Toddy, they will just flow. Not attacking or aggressive, but just a powerful rhythm around the corner. And if you can do that, the stride just seems to pop out of the thin air. That's the way to do it. This is Martin Hamillon. Just before the third rider rotation starts, we've got still 4 more individuals to go before the third of each nation gets up and running. And this is Quillan Menjulet on course, side by the Trophée de Roselle Sail Francais stallion. And this was a beautiful dressage, 29.6. 7th position individually, so right in the mix as he comes out onto the cross country. And again, super smooth down that mound. Roll top to corner, 12-13. Martin, 34 years of age. He started his international eventing in Pompadour in France in 06. But this is his first ever 3-star, so a very good start. Francesco hails a cab out over the ditch brush. Big jump by Garfield. This horse is powered around for sure. 12 years of age by Bonnie Prince Charlie. And Francesco, just one fence to come. The Vairano arch to complete. Very solid that was. Good attacking round from the Italian.
Intanto vediamo che sta per passare il numero 363 qui alle nostre spalle, il francese Martin Haméon con Kylian Menjoulet, numero 363. Minuti e 42, questo che fa segnare il cronometro per la prova di Francesco Aondio Bertero in sella Garfield. E ha preso il via anche Andrea Cincinnati in sella Cascade numero 365.
Well, the sad sight we just see, Bietdana has a tumble, so London Lou, I'm afraid, is eliminated. Out on the cross-country course. We believe that was at 9AB, the wedge to corner. But now we focus. Because this is Martin Haméon, still clear and still going very well out on the course. Martin Haméon is through the last combination and going beautifully now on the home journey. Kylian Menjoulet, just the Vairano arch to jump through, and they do, and that is a cracker. First 3-star will bag him lots of confidence. He's tackled one of Mark Phillips's big 3-star courses. At the first attempt is by no means a certainty, and congratulations, the Frenchman comes home with a clear jumping round, and we just await the time. We are live with NZB Cascade, this beautiful grey. Andrea Cincinnati in the saddle, the Italian. This one owned by Maria Pia Bernardini. And now 14 years of age, the big Irish sport horse yawns out over the big fence at 8. That is the narrow brush table. This is pictures of the new starter. Geoffroy Soulet joins us, combination number 26 of the 42, just up and running. He pops out over the produce stand. This class, the long 3-star and the 2-star that was earlier today, all jumped the same fence at the second. And Geoffroy Soulet aboard the Selle Francais, 12 years of age. It is Sacre Louveau who does get underway. Good dressage here, 32.7. Left them in 10th position. But the beautiful little grey. NZB Cascade. This horse was produced by Mark Todd and sold through the Cranford Eventing company to Andrea Cincinnati. This pair got together in 2011, and Cascade was bred in Ireland. And again, the great sight of a grey ripping it round the cross-country course. He drops down to this bullfinch at 14. Jumps it very comfortably.
Geoffrey Souillet ha superato l'ostacolo numero 6 A e 6B, la combinazione quindi è già alle sue spalle, va verso il numero 7, diciamo la parte più lontana del percorso dalla nostra postazione, centro calcoli e speaker.
This combination started the 2018 season in Pratoni. They were 8th at the 2 start, just the north of Rome. But this is impressive because last year they were eliminated here in Vairano in the long format 3 start. So, not the happiest hunting ground for them. And it does take a degree of bravery to come back and let the ghosts lie. And Andrea Cincinnati is doing a super job of that as he just travels down now to this big roundhouse at 18. And NZB Cascade is certainly very much in the groove. Well, the time's in for Martin Hamillon, and I must say I am not surprised in the least. But for a first 3 star, it's a great effort. He's just 1 second outside the time. And 6:27 gives 0.4 of a time penalty. 30 is the score, and he moves into second position. So France are in the luxurious position of holding places 1, 2 and 3. And still we haven't come yet to the third rider rotation when things start to get fascinating. Geoffrey Souillet, the Frenchman, again zips around that corner. The mound, 12 to 13, effortless it was. NZB Cascade pops over the big ditch and brush, and it's not really poppable, but it looks pretty comfortable, I must say, for Andrea Cincinnati. Geoffrey Souillet is having a lot of fun. This is very confident. France are simply on fire this afternoon. They are making this big enough course look like a walk in the park. And as Mark Phillips shows at the great Burley Park, his big tracks are rarely straightforward, so just testament to the quality and great rides that horses and riders are having, that they are making this course look pretty manageable. Into view comes 21-year-old Ludovica Manzoli down the straight before the left-handed jink into the combination at 9. This is Pin Up to May, her European Young Rider Championship ride. They started with a dressage, was right in the mix, 32, 8th position. When you think at the moment that could go into 3rd position, given an inside the time cross-country.
Purtroppo un primo rifiuto per Geoffrey Souillet, ma intanto è partito anche in partita Patrizia Attinger da Svizzera in sella Money Hamac numero 368.
But now things start to get really heated out on the cross-country course, because the first of the third rider rotation does get underway. Patrizia Attinger looks very determined, I must say. She comes out of the start box with a grit between her teeth. And this is Munia Mak on the early part of the course. Her dressage was 38.1. Patrizia completed a legal thesis just in the last 2 years, so she's a doctor as well. Gives Munia Mak a little pat to give him confidence after a very secure trip through the brushes at 6.
Attenzione, è stato ritrovato un telefonino, il proprietario dovrebbe essere la signorina Charlotte Giraud, lo può trovare qui presso la postazione.
The Attiga family run the lovely Frauenfeld competition in Switzerland, early part of the spring season. And Munia Mak, his ears are pricked, eyeing up that big table. Up at 8, the narrow brush table. It's not narrow, it's narrow head on, but it's very wide in the direction of the jump. Munia Mak coming down to this combination at 9 on the turn. The Irish boy's taking quite a hold on the Swiss reins, but he's very secure and solid. Jumps through there beautifully. On course now, this the man that pulled out a superb dressage out of the bag. Sweden's number 2, the tall figure of Christopher Forsberg, just coming down to fence number 3. Chris was clear around the Land Rover Burghley Horse Trials in 2010. Was 20th with his young rider horse Grafman around the biggest cross-country course, another Mark Phillips course at Burghley. He rode at the Le Moulin Europeans in 2011 as well. As Patrizia Attinger now comes to the Bullfinch at 14. She's riding really positively. The first of the third rider rotation here in Vairano. This horse looks very savvy, a typical wily Irishman, because doesn't jump in an exuberant fashion. He's brushing through or close to the top of the fence when he can, just conserving his energy. Wily is Munia Mak, and Patrizia really trusts him. Tight line. She cut back to the indoor school complex at 16. Good stuff here for Patrizia. Well, this pair are having a lot of fun, I tell you what, because doesn't take a pull at all through the bank combination at 17. It's all very forward and powerful. But now, Christopher Forsberg, Hippo Sapporo, his hope for the World Games in Tryon. Very relaxed feeling as he pops up over the mega table and the narrow brush table at 7 and 8. Chris now based in the Netherlands and accompanied here by the team trainer, Frederick Bergendorf. He did a sublime test for 40, and that's Ludwig coming up in a moment. Chris's score was convincingly better, 26.3. Apologies, because I was so happy for my good friend in the dressage. And Hippo Sapporo is going very well. Looking really solid at the halfway stage. Just pulls the right rein. Well, he won't, of course. He'll put his legs on the horse and just turn his head and flows between 10 and 11. But it's looking very good at the halfway stage. Patrizia Attinger is also having a blinder out there. This is super for the Swiss number 3. Oh, real stride she sees of that big ditch and brush. She is having a blast out there It's super to watch. But now we focus on Christopher Forsberg, because if him and Ludwig can go well, they can just really challenge for, certainly the silver medal is gettable for Sweden. The medal they took at last year's Europeans. He wasn't part of that team in Stragon, but on this sort of form, you'd have to have a feel that Chris could well be selected for the Worlds in Tryon. Hippo Sapporo drops down the bank at 17, and Chris Forsberg is simply as smooth as a tiger in a tuxedo out there. This is beautiful from the tall Swede. His father Johan watching at home in Sweden. He'll be delighted. This is super progress. He's 3/4 of the way through. Brice Luda comes into view with this lovely Valère de Bonnière. We see just approaching 9 now. This one was so elegant in the dressage. Scored 28.3 to lie in 6th position. So again, right in touch coming out onto the cross country. But Chris Forsberg has got his eye on top honours, because if he can come home inside the time, he would take the lead away from Luc Chateau. It's a tall order, but he's certainly flown. Chris Forsberg is riding in the form of his life here. Long stride into the water, and Hippo Sapporo is now lighting the afterburners on the way home. 6:26 is the time. He must come home inside to snatch it away from Luc Chateau. This is an exhibition as Fred Bergendorf just jogs alongside Chris on the home trip. This has been masterful from the young Swede. I have loved this round. Chris Forsberg heads for home. Boom, that is a superb round completed. There you go. The selectors have got to see that round and see, okay, this is a man for the Worlds in Tryon. That was pure class from the combination. And Chris Forsberg lays down a very strong case for selection for the World Games right there. Live we are with Brice Luda, the Frenchman. This elegant Palomino just drops down off the bank at 17.
Il tempo di Patricia Attinger 6 minuti e 24, mentre per quel che riguarda Christopher Forsberg 6 minuti e 26. Brice Luda è appena passato alle nostre spalle, quindi per lui oltre ai 3/4 di gara superati e quindi ancora pochi.
Well, the scores are in, and I must say this is super stuff, because 6:26 the optimum, and Chris Forsberg becomes the third to hit the optimum straight on the head. Brilliant from the Swede. 26.2. Chris Forsberg is our leader. He takes half a penalty away from Luc Chateau. He joins Luc and that super round from Ludovica Manzoli. 3 to beat the optimum time. Well done. Chris Forsberg heads the way individually here in Vairano, and Sweden are primed to really start to fight for that gold medal with the French.
E sul percorso di gara abbiamo anche il numero 372 Ocarina du Chanois con Donatien Joly, rappresentante della Francia. Ricordiamo, come già detto prima, che questa gara vale anche per la Coppa delle Nazioni, al termine della quale vedremo, dopo questa prova vedremo se ci sarà stato qualche...
Fosco Girardi, this is, we see coming into the bank complex at 17 after the excitement of Chris Forsberg inside the time. We're just steady to enjoy Feldhegger. With this guy only 21 years of age, his dressage 34.3. Like Hippo Sapporo out of the Trakehner stud book. And Fosco's got his foot down to the boards, approaching that let-up fence at 18. The big round house, as it's known. Simple but explanatory description. Well, we must wait until the final competitors are out to give you an accurate reflection of the team position, because Sweden with only the 3, so it's rather deceptive to give you a team score until the last Ludvig Svennestel has got underway for Sweden. Of course, we do know that France are looking in super shape, and even more so now because the scores just come through for Brice Luda. The Palomino Valet de Bonnière has just completed, and 6:29, 3 seconds out of the time. It's 1.2 time penalties for them, and 29.5 goes into 3rd position on the cross-country course. So France very much in charge of this Nations Cup opening leg in Vairano.
Fosco Girardi, ancora poche battute per lui prima di tagliare il traguardo. Ecco che lo vediamo passare sotto la nostra.
I can tell you that the overnight leader is also out on the course. We haven't seen him yet, but Donation Joly is away. 25.6 was 0.6 of a penalty ahead of Christopher Forsberg after dressage, but we enjoy the sight of 21-year-old Fosco Girardi storming home. That's a great round from a young jockey. He'll be delighted as he crosses the line. Feldhegger, the Trakehner gelding. Good afternoon for Trakehners, I must say, here in Italy. Back-to-back Hippo Sapporo and now Feldhegger for the Trakehner breed, both completing with super rounds. But there is Donation Joly. Now this man looks quick to me at this point. 25.6. He won the big Buccolo title in 2010 to edge out both Mark Todd and Mikael Jung. But this horse was out of action since London 2012, so super to have the now 16-year-old back with eventing. Just coming down to the water. He is an individual for France, so no reflection on the team standings, but can he nip ahead of Christopher Forsberg? Or will the tall Swede lead the way after cross-country? We'll find out in a moment. Just turning into the combination at 9. The wedge to corner. France's individual, Matilda Cruz. It's another Trakehner. We welcome First Flight Alliance to the cross-country. 12 years of age and a good score, 35.6 from the dressage. But now, Ocarine de Chanois, as we focus sharply on the individual honours here in Vairano. Jumps beautifully, and to me, the speed is quick. Donation has got his foot down as he comes to this big ditch and brush, sees a super long stride at that. And this Frenchman is for sure flowing. Can he get inside 6:26? He can be 1 second over 6:27. Would see him home ahead of Christopher Forsberg, but not 2. As Ocarin de Chamois comes to the final fence in Vairano. First flight Alliance Matilda Cruz coming down to the newsstand off the corner. As we said before, the business of the Bordoni family, the great magazines they sold to Russia with cars and architecture as their focus. Hence the newsstand. There's the explanation of the name of that. Nice easy table. But this looks very smooth again. The Tricaners continue their unstoppable form out on the cross country. Just coming to the step up onto the mound and down. Again, looking very much in a confident mode at the end of Mark Phillips's course. The time is now through for Donation Joly, and this is pivotal because 6:22, he is the quickest out on the cross country. He shaves 4 seconds off the optimum and 25.6. He goes into the lead. Brilliant round from Donation. His Olympic horse from London has not been started since the Olympics, and he's truly back in winning form. He heads up Chris Forsberg by 0.6. It could not be any tighter as we look forward to show jumping tomorrow.
Ricordiamo che sul percorso abbiamo Giulia Schmitz, Laura O'Gavin e Alice Naber-Lozeman.
This is the lovely grey highlights. Tracking down to the mound at 12:13 with Lino Paparella. This is ridden very well. Matilda Cruz, again powerful through the final complex here in Vairano. That last water jump.
Ed ecco il numero 373, Matilde Cruz, ancora pochi metri per lei prima di concludere la sua prova. Ma intanto stiamo per vedere le nostre
That is a very sad sight because a fall on the flats after 16, coming to the bank complex at 17. These things sadly can happen in eventing, but I'm afraid it's an unlucky elimination for Lino Paparella. Highlights, slips on the flat. And that is the end of the Italian journey, I am afraid. But now we see, and a very strong gallop it is for Julia Schmitz. This is the Belgian combination. Bruno Schmitz's Ladylike, looking very confident on the early part of the course. Sees a real flyer up and out over the narrow brush table at 8. Julia, just 25 years of age. This was her ride at the Le Lion World Young Horse Champs 2 years ago in the two-star, the 7-year-old category. They were 49th there. But boy, oh boy, has got the bit firmly between her teeth as she just rips through the combination at 9. And a nice little pat for Ladylike as she comes to Danilo's bed. Giulia made her international debut 6 years ago now. 2012 at Waregem was her opening gambit into international eventing. And this mare was bred in Brandenburg in Germany. This their 4th season together and started all of their starts together. But now that is the Dutch colours. The brown of Laura Hergeveen is on course. The horse she took to the Young Rider Europeans in Stregon a few years ago. It's Quibus on course for the Dutch. As we're back with Julia Schmitz coming powerfully down to the Bullfinch. This lady is really operating. Won't be far down on the time. It is 5 only that have betted 6.26. Fosco Girardi, accompanied by Ludovico Manzoli, the 2 for Italy, and the flying Frenchman, Luc Chateau, Donation Joly, and Sweden's Christopher Forsberg are the 5. Julia Schmitz brings this exciting, only 9-year-old mare down to this bank complex. Gosh, she's a hungry, feisty mare, isn't she? Look at the determination. She is so keen to just keep on with the job. That's what you need as a rider. The horse that takes you into the fence, not too strong so you lose control, but just brings you to the fence in a powerful contact. This is the Dutch Laura Hergeveen in a good gallop. This is Quibus on the early part of the course here in Vairano, going very strongly. Laura's mother, Angelique Schreurs, is here supporting Laura for this exciting Nations Cup for her as she pops out over the narrow brush table at 8. With Laura on the course, we have another 6 to start. The Nations Cup cross country here in Vairano, and 2 more individuals before the crucial final riders for each of the 4 nations get out on the course. France looking very secure, 84.2. No doubt will lead into the show jumping tomorrow, but a real battle on for silver and bronze between Italy, the home nation, Sweden and Switzerland. Not much to separate those 3 nations at this stage. Julia Schmitz should be very proud of this round, I really think, because she's handled this feisty mare very well. It's a proper cross-country horse and took a stride out in the final combination. Really impressive round is about to come home for Belgium. So Laura Hergeveen brings her ride of the Young Riders in Stregon in 2015, and from the juniors in 2012 also in Poland at the same venue. Back to this bank combination at 17, and Quibus is still clear. I talked to Laura a little bit earlier and I just said the only difficulty here, well, there's many, but one of the difficulties to be very aware of is the fact that it's quite a featureless cross-country course, flat land, not many woods or real distractions for the horse's mind. And in the last part of the course, just be careful he doesn't just drop off the bridle, get a bit lulled into a gallop. Just check he's always with you, concentrating at the end of the course was what I said to her. But I don't think that is any problem because Quibus still bit between the teeth and galloping and jumping for fun. As we watch Alice Naber-Lozman come into view, Axie Peter Parker, her ride from the Olympics in Rio de Janeiro 2 years ago, has powered around some of the biggest 4 stars in the world, just coming down to Danilo's bed at 10. And Alice is absolutely poised here because lying on a brilliant 26 in the dressage, so she can go ahead of Christopher Forsberg if she's inside the time. 1 second down, so 6:27 would put her outside of the Swedish total. She can't quite edge ahead of Donation Joly, but can put herself into a position to challenge tomorrow. And Peter Parker powers through that Mound Complex, 12-13. Alice said to me earlier this is her first ride this season because Burnham Market was cancelled in Norfolk. So this is her opening to 2018. Laura Hergeveen has ridden beautifully. And Quibus now turns for home. They are clear, and this has been a super performance for the young Dutch lady. She will be delighted. Crosses the line. It's a big Marks Phillips course she has excelled around. And a super clear for the Dutch individuals.
è il tempo che fa segnare il percorso di Laura O'Gevin. Intanto dietro di noi è passata Alice Naber-Lozman con il suo Peter Parker, ma sul percorso abbiamo anche il numero 378 Flyaway Ranch con Anna Fresgar per la Svezia.
The second ride for Anna Fresgaard as she sets off with Flyaway VDN Ranch. Number 38 of the 42 to start. A super clear already attained from Box Cutie. The horse she took to the Europeans in Streg on her debut individually for Sweden last year for 33rd position. Runs a very nice training base in southern Sweden with her partner William Nielsen Fryer. 26 horses based at the base. And her partner William, a former Dolphin trainer, so horse management quite straightforward for this couple. Had a quick chat to Anna earlier. She said that Box Cutie finished full of running and Fly Away beautifully through the combination at 9. They started with a dressage of 34.7. A little bit off the pace. That was 19th position. This horse starting in his third competition this year, Stregon Barocca Alva, with the first 2 runs for Fly Away. But now, flying away at the start box is the first of our final rider rotations. We welcome Robin Girdle. Is up and running for Switzerland. He is aboard Jean-Jacques Fünfschilling's Grandeur de Lully CH. Their dressage 37.2. Super stride. He powers out over the table. That is the introduction away. This the first combination. It's ridden very well with this choice of 3 or 4, but Robin Girdle beautifully through there.
Intanto Robbie Godel dalla Svizzera è già sul percorso di gara insieme al suo grandeur de Lully.
The time has just come through for Alice Naber-Losman, and well, it's another one to hit 6:26 exactly on the head. We have had now 4 combinations hit the optimum perfectly on the nail, which is a very seldom achievement in eventing. 4 now have got 6:26 spot on, and that, as we said, does mean that Alice moves into second position, just sandwiched in between Donation Joly and Christopher Forsberg, the 1, 2, 3 late stage here in Italy. Robin Girdle, the dust kicking up from the heels of Grandeur de Lully as they come down to this table. Up at the far reach of Mark Phillips's course at 8. Not a lot of change in the team standings as we come to the final rider rotation. France looking very secure in the gold. Just 3 more to go out of the box at the end of the Nations Cup in Italy. Robin Girdle, super smooth. That was beautiful. Gymnastic-like through that double at 9. Robin is the youngest in this Nations Cup at just 19 years of age. He rode at 1 Young Rider Europeans and juniors as well. Was 19th in Mill Street Young Riders of last year. He only started competing, Robin, actually in 2014. That is a very quick ascendancy to the top of eventing. So the way he's riding coupled with that impressive stat makes me think this is a real talent for Switzerland in the future. But here's a present talent for Sweden away. Ludvig Svennestel is on course, and Ludi riding his Burley ride of last year. Ballon sets off. A double Olympian. He rode in London 2012 and in Rio de Janeiro. That was an 8-year-old asp he took around the Olympic course of Pierre Michelet 2 years ago. Ludi now based at Zara Phillips's Gloucestershire pad and up and running very smartly with Ballon Mist.
Abbiamo già sul percorso anche il numero 380, Ballon Mist con Ludvig Svennestel per la Svezia. Intanto il tempo di Anna Fresgar è di 6 minuti e 39 secondi. Questo è il riscontro cronometrico per la sua prova compiuta con Flyaway Range.
Robin Girdle, this very talented young Swiss jockey, sees a stride out of his hand. Like the greats across country. No alteration last minute, just flowing, attacking up over 18. But Ludvig Svennestel, Ballon Mist, now turning at the top end of the course. He had that superb win in Stregom a couple of years ago. Beat Mikael Jung into second. That was with King Bob. Ludvig before Zara Phillips was with Sir Mark Todd at his base. And look at the composure. Perfect balance from the pair as they set up for this turn into 9. 27 years of age now, and Stockholm born comes to 9. Before Toddy, was with Chris Bartels, so has learnt from two of the great men. As cross-country educators, Ludwig Svennestor is up over the big Oxer at 11. But now we sit back and enjoy. The highest world-ranked rider is out on the course. Maxime Livio gets underway. World number 9. He took the Po 4-star in 2016, beating Mikael Jung by 7 penalties on that Sunday afternoon in the Pyrenees. His dressage was super smooth yesterday. And Picador gets underway. 28 the score. He can go only 4th, actually. In fact, 5th on that individual leaderboard. But can the French anchorman give them a great shot at the gold medal here in Vairano? Picador, Saint-Français, bred 15 years of age by Trésor du Renan. The sire of famously Noé de Vati, Ben Vogue's partner. The only horse ever to complete juniors, young riders, worlds, Olympics and Europeans. Incredible from Ben and Noé. But Ludwig is at the back. He's certainly in very determined fashion. Fred Bergendorf just keeping an eye as Ludi now comes down to this roll top at 18. The Swedes have had a super day. Anna Fresgaard got them off to the perfect start with Box Cutie. Christopher Fosberg was simply sublime with Hippo Sapporo. And Ludi Svennestor is seeing strides right out of his hand. Beautiful. Out over the Oxer. I tell you what, the Swedes are really warming up for Tryon in fine fashion. Their show jumpers, Peter Fredriksson, Rolf-Göran Bengtsson, Henrik von Eckermann, could quite easily walk away with a team gold. And I tell you what, these eventers are also in super form. Maxime tracks back to the combination at 9 with Picador. Just pops into the combination, lands, and we turn to Ludwig. Back end of the course. Balamis just hangs his back end out over the entrance, but very well and quickly through. Can Ludwig be another one inside the time here? It's not impossible. He hacks down to the ditch and brush. He is cruising for home. 3 to come. Just sets up to the houses. Left-handed turn. 6:26. The challenge, and Ludwig is powering for the line. But Maxime Livio, if Sweden have been good, France have been imperious over the 3 days here in Vairano. He just comes down to the Bullfinch. Very composed feeling about this French performance. He travels again, a quick rhythm with Picador down to the new stand. Just waiting for the time for Ludwig. I don't believe it. It's another one. The 6th to hit 6:26 square on the head. This is a very high standard. Boy, oh boy. It's astonishing the accuracy that these riders inside the time have achieved. It's so impressive. Ludwig Svennestor is inside the time, and he does finish on 40.1. Superb cross-country round once again. But Maxime Livio is another one that could beat the optimum. This has been a flowing, aggressive round from Picador. 28, the start score. As we said, he can only go into 5th position. We've had some big ground covering gallopers. This is a different sort of a beast. A short, choppy, but very rapid, high-tempo stride. This is a replay through the first combination at 4AB, but back real time. Maxime Livio comes to the final water. Picador, the penultimate pair on the cross country. Yeah, impressive from the world number 9. He was flying in the gallop before the water, but just came very swiftly back under control. And Maxime is giving us a real exhibition here again, like so many have at riding at speed safely across country. And 3 to go for France's anchorman to put France into a commanding gold medal position. They're going to lead by a good enough margin into the show jumping tomorrow. Maxime Livio crosses the line. Super round just completed.
6 minuti e 18 secondi è il tempo che fa segnare Maxime Livio e il suo Picador.
The time's in as well for Maxime Livio, and no surprises, another one is inside the time. And that is 6:18, the second quickest out on the cross country. It was young Fosco Girardi at just 21. The quickest round of the afternoon, 6:10 that was. And Maxime Livio goes up into 5th position. But this is the last of the cross country. Just approaching 17, we welcome forward Arianna Schivo with her hope for the worlds in Tryon. This is Coiffure de Lormeaux. I saw this mare in Buccolo 4 or 5 years ago, and I must say I was dazzled by the talent. Jumped to double clear that year and pops nicely on and off the bank at 17. Arianna Schivo comes racing round this final stretch of Mark Phillips' course. This mare, as ever, just eating up the cross country for fun. Now comes to this yawning stick pile. Makes it look fairly Pony Club-like. This mare just always like a little guided missile, just coming to the final big question. We've had the odd one or two have a blip out of this water complex at the element, which is just out of your view behind the bank here. But as you can see, Coiffure de Lormeaux, no problems. And Arianna Schivo races for home. 3 to go to anchor the Nations Cup cross country in Vairano. The opening leg of 2018 has certainly been hallmarked by some classic rounds. The most precise timekeeping you could ever wish to see on a long cross-country course. And Arianna Schivo jumps the last to complete. Coiffure de Lormeaux anchors Italy and anchors the Nations Cup cross-country. We just await for her time. And we will give you the final position in the Nations Cup after a great Saturday. Certainly, the beast from the east has truly been conquered. Warm cross-country conditions has been matched by the highest quality of riding and jumping from the horses out on the course. And the final time is in for Arianna Schivo with Quafira de Lormeaux. Inside the time, again, 1 second under perfect round for the final round of the cross country. And their final score is 36.9. So, ladies and gentlemen, a sun-soaked Vairano has certainly soaked up the best that cross-country sport has to offer. And the individual position, in 5th position, Maxime Livio, purred around with Picador, and 28 is 5th for Maxime Livio. France having a superb day, both Nations Cup, team-wise and individually. Luc Chateau guided his stallion Propriano de Labat into 4th position, 26.7, 1.1 only behind the leading tally. Christopher Forsberg has been a class above, both in the dressage and today on the cross country. And Hippo Sapporo must have caught the selector's eye in advance of the World Championships. It was pure class to line 3rd on 26.2. Alice Narber-Losman took her Rio Olympic horse Peter Parker for fun around the cross-country course. And 26 has given her a real shot at the individual title. She trails by just 0.4. But the combination that are right back in form after a long break from 2012, the Olympics. Donation Scholli leads the way. Ocrin du Chambois is out in front by the tiniest of margins, 25.6, the individual leading score. And we turn our attention to the Nations Cup. In reverse order, the Swiss team dropped the score of Camille Guyot, 124.9, puts them just off the podium in 4th position. Sweden down to 3. They all had to come out all guns blazing, and didn't they ever. A truly superb performance from Fredrik Bergendorf's Warriors. And they are in the bronze, 108.3. And that is literally 2.6 behind the silver medal. And that is the home nation. Italy, 105.7. Fosco Girardi, Clelia Casiraghi. Arianna Schivo, we just saw completing, and they dropped the score of Rebecca Chiappero, their first out. But France, once again, have been superb. They've really shown us the way. Great dressage matched by flawless cross-country performances, and they lead after cross-country on 84.2 penalties. France are very much in the driving seat here in Vairano. So from the team here in Italy, we say farewell. Do come back tomorrow to see whether France take the first leg of the Nations Cup. We will see you tomorrow here in Italy. It's good.